Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later because it's time to check out this rather glorious thing. This is the new repaint of Missing Link Convoy. It's C-01S Sentinel Prime, and I couldn't be more excited for this. And it's funny because I've seen a little bit of reaction online, like, what exactly is this, and who is it for, who wants this, all of that kind of stuff. Well, I can assure you, I do, and I'm here to tell you exactly what it is and why it's awesome. Now, it's worth me saying that this video is brought to you by tfsource.com, so I will go ahead and put a link to their site in the description below, and you can check them out for your Transformers needs. And as far as today's item goes, I absolutely adore this monochromatic packaging. It's just beautiful. Honestly, taking the new Missing Link style Takara packaging, which is already a reference to the kind of vintage toys of the early 80s, and then just doing it in this beautiful, beautiful black and white style. It's stunning, honestly. Really love it, and I love how the only pop of colour is the orange of the cab. It's a similar story on the reverse where you've got the classic back of the box battle artwork, and that's looking great again in monochrome, but then you do actually have a bit of colour for the tech spec, which is really cool. They have given Sentinel a bit of a bio here, which actually seems to make reference to his Dark of the Moon days as well, which is kind of weird. But for me, I absolutely cannot wait to go ahead and actually check out the package itself. I've already spent a fair bit of time talking up the beauty that is Missing Link Convoy, so this will be a nice addition. And already I'm utterly thrilled by that green matrix. I don't think I knew that he came with a green matrix, but that is just so exciting. I mean, just take a minute to fully appreciate that. It's just so weird. I love it. I love stuff like this. It really harkens back to the kind of days of the e-hobby exclusive for me, and more of this, please. Anyway, we should go ahead and get him out of there. I've got this little bit of plastic. He's packed quite tightly in the polystyrene. That sort of nostalgic vibe, but he's actually quite hard to get him out of there, but there we go. And then get that plastic bag off him as well so he can breathe. And then we've got all these various little accessories. We've got the roller in there, which is going to need some assembly. We've got his rifle. Mustn't forget these bits. We've got a little red Energon axe, and we've got the wheels for roller as well, and his missiles. And you know, as with Optimus, in between seeing these little hosepipe sections and stuff on a sprue, it really does feel like a vintage toy. Anyway, here we go. We've got the vehicle mode assembled, and my word, that is handsome. There's, to me, something about an Optimus Prime in kind of a strange and unusual colour scheme that just hits different, even now. I love it. No matter the mould, but certainly on the vintage original design. I know this is Missing Link, I know it's a newly tooled overhaul or whatever, but still, it's classic Optimus in strange colours. I love it. I mean, it really does feel like we're getting a repaint of that original toy again, which is something we haven't had in a while, you know, but there's a long history of that in between stuff like the Babes and Shining Magnus and Movie Preview Magnus and loads of them, but this is glorious. It's kind of a new colour scheme for this design, you know, with kind of the orangey yellow. I absolutely love it. I think the green tinted windows are perfection. I really love the nondescript trailer. I know a number of people are kind of like, wow, it looks a bit plain or whatever, but for me, I don't know, it's something a little bit different again. And obviously this is based on an animation reference. It's from the very first episode of the G1 cartoon. This is actually the truck that the Sky Spy from Teletran 1 scans when it's looking to rebuild Optimus Prime into his more traditional red and blue cab, and it is a kind of slightly lighter orange than what's seen in the cartoon, but still great reference. I love that they kind of built that in here. This is like multiple references in one toy. It's so cool. And again, as with Missing Link Convoy, the detail here is just superb. It's so weird seeing this mold recreated again. I know it's a new version. I'm still in awe of it. I just can't tell you how much I love this thing, honestly. I think the colour is sublime. The colour matching is really good as well. Quite difficult with this kind of yellowy orange to do, but actually between the painted and non-painted sections, it looks really decent. Chrome is lovely. Again, the tinted green on the windows is lush. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, it is worth mentioning that actually if you flip open the front of the truck here, then you've obviously got this silver matrix chest section in there. That will come out. If you just prise it out gently like so, that is chromed, looks really, really nice. But if you do that, then there is room, as with the classic Optimus, to put a little Diaclone driver, little Dianaut in there, so that's kind of fun. And it's funny to see that actually without that sort of reflective silver section inside there, the green tint of the windows does look a little bit different as well, kind of like it. And of course there is a lot of functionality still in the trailer as well, just like the original. You can flip out these little stands at the sides just to kind of position it. You can open up the back door, and then actually the halves of the trailer just split open like so, and then there you go. You've got your battle platform ready to go. Now, of course, I have just covered off a lot of this functionality with the new Retro Prime in a video for that, if you haven't seen it, so it's worth checking out. But this is basically the same in terms of what it does. A couple of little differences, but you can see that obviously on this version you've got a lot of stickers and decals and things, making this very colourful as well. Now, it is weird to see that they actually haven't recoloured these stickers at all from the original, whether it's the Missing Link or indeed the vintage toy. This is as colourful as it ever was and all of the same details. And I don't mind that, honestly. It might have been nice to see them do something a little bit different with this, just in terms of colour maybe or something, but hey, it still looks great. I've got such great memories of this. Honestly, this is like pure nostalgia catnip for me. Of course, if you want to make it even more colourful, then there is actually a little sticker sheet in the box as well. Mine's got a creased corner, thanks to Kara, but never mind. But it's all very faithful to the original. Again, it's got all of these little kind of readouts and things like this. This all goes along the side of the trailer here, and things like the little classic Go symbol. Very, very cool. I will say I might have preferred tampos, but hey, what can you do? And this does retain all of the classic functionality as well, so of course you can put your Dinonaut in the little seat just there, and of course you can just equip Sentinel Prime's rifle in the little hole just there, just for a bit of storage. And if you've got multiple pilots, then another one can go in the little console here. This does work with new Diaclone pilots as well, or indeed there's the command module up the top as well, which should house one of the little drivers in here, although interestingly I find that it's got the same problem as I had on the Retro Prime trailer. In that the Dinonaut, actually the feet are too big to kind of fit under the console, so he won't go all the way in, so he just kind of sits at a very strange angle, and that's really unusual to see. If you've seen my video of the Retro Prime, you'll know I had the exact same problem with that. And although this is a separate tooling to that newly tooled trailer, very confusing because it's two newly tooled versions of the same original thing. Absolutely not the same tooling at all, I've been reassured of that, but I'm wondering if they've been working off the same CAD design, because to have the same issue on both toys is really unusual. I mean, here they are together, so you can kind of see what I mean, and it's hard to compare, but obviously this is the retro one, this is the new Sentinel Prime, or the Missing Link mold, and again, these are supposedly different toolings, different molds that are being used, but they must be based on the same CAD, because honestly, to have that same problem it is really unusual. But you can tell that they are different molds because of course it's different tooling here. This has removed the little spring-loaded sections that is still present on the Missing Link for the missiles, so they are definitely different, but you know, still got that same problem, weirdly. But hey, it's not the end of the world, is it? I mean, how many people are looking to put Diaclone drivers in these things these days, hey? Probably not many. It's probably just me, and even I'm only doing it for a laugh, so it is what it is. It's interesting to see they've gone with a kind of light blue canopy just here. That looks really, really nice. This is the originals, kind of orangey brown. This is the first Missing Link, but of course that recreates the look of the vintage toy. And this has got kind of a darker blue overall as well, kind of purpley blue, versus this kind of more pale blue. So that looks really, really nice, a little bit different there. And of course it does retain the functionality of the vintage toy, where you can actually put in little missiles like so, and then fire them away. That's just awesome. So strange that something so simple as that can be exciting in 2024, but spring-loaded gimmicks for the win. Sadly though, there is a little bit of functionality lost with Roller in that regard, as we'll see, but first things first, you've got to get him built, so you've got to get these wheels off the sprue, and then it's quite simply a matter of snapping those into place, like so. Very, very easy to do. And then of course he rolls, which is what you would want from a little guy called Roller. It does what he says on the tin, so that's nice. And then here you can see him with the Retro Prime version, which of course is cast in cartoon accurate silver. This is toyetic blue, so it does look really, really nice. It does have a little bit of extra functionality as well, in that you can flip up this little back section like so, which is something that's not included on the retro one because that is a recreation of the original toy, but this one does have that little extra red light. And then here's the bit that's missing, because of course normally you would bring Roller into the trailer, there'd be a little sort of section here for plugging him in and firing him away, and they've taken that out. Why they did that, I don't know, because it's so strange to keep the missile functionality, you know, the spring-loaded missiles, and then lose this little bit. It's a shame, because it's a fun gimmick, but these things, this is what happens sometimes, isn't it? Still got the button, look. It's just statically molded now. It doesn't actually work at all, doesn't move. Just there to tease us. That's just cruel. Anyway, joking aside, it's not the end of the world. It would have been nice though to have some way of actually storing Roller in there, like on the pegs or whatever, because as it is, you can't really leave him in the trailer because he's just going to rattle around, so bit of a weird choice, but hey. But there is more to be done with Roller, because if you flip that back section over like so again, then you can go ahead and plug in the main hand blaster, just like that. So that looks pretty cool. Alternatively, we've got these little hose pieces in the bag as well. You just want to go ahead and plug in one piece to either end of the hose. And then you can go ahead and plug that little back section into Roller as well. And he kind of becomes like a little refueling vehicle for Optimus or Sentinel or whoever's trailer this is. So again, I think I mentioned in my Retro Prime review that this isn't something I ever really fussed about as a kid, but it is kind of fun and I'm glad they recreated it. That can be used with the trailer as well. Can just plug it in there. Now, one thing that is very different here on this versus the vintage original is that here you can actually slide this battle platform command section off. I mean, it's something we've seen done on some of the newer Optimus Prime toys like MP44 and I think the new Studio Series toy as well, but it's got little wheels in the bottom now, and then it will kind of roll around by itself and it kind of becomes like a separate module or component for this release overall, and I think that's cool, honestly. I'm glad they included it. Like, I know it's a recreated version and I know it's a different colour scheme, but man, this thing still has all the fun of the original. And similar to Retro Prime, you can have the command module kind of poking up the top of the trailer through this little hole here, or you can have it out the front in this one and kind of driving the trailer by itself. So lots to do on this one, tons of fun. Go nuts with it, honestly. Anyway, speaking of Retro Prime, we've got a bit of a treat for you because we're going to do some comparisons, and here are those two toys together, and it's so strange to see because, of course, again, this is two separate retooled or newly tooled versions of the same trailer. so weird. But yeah, they look great together, honestly. I couldn't be happier to be receiving these two different but similar toys at the same point in time. It's mad. What a time. What a time. It's incredible. As for other yellow repaints of classic G1 molds, how about him next to the eHobby exclusive Tiger Track, which is of course a repaint of the original Sideswipe mold based on the classic Diaclone toy. And yeah, God, I'd take a whole fleet of G1 Transformers in yellow, frankly. And then here we have him with something rather special. It's the first ever black G1 convoy, although not Nemesis Prime in any way, shape or form. This is an exclusive to the JAFCON convention that was released in 2000. It's absolutely beautiful, all in black, including like the roller and everything, and yeah, just a bit of fun to see. Next we got another trailer, but in this case it's the Generation 2 release from the early to mid 90s. A lot of love for this thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. Of course, it's got the extra soundbox section at the front as well, although the main trailer is the same original mold. And then here we have those Babe versions from 2011 to 2013. These things are kind of notorious amongst collectors, but I think they are glorious. Honestly, just proves my love for weirdly coloured Optimus Primes, as I mentioned earlier. And I do think Sentinel Prime fits in so well with that. I can't wait to put him on display with these guys. I have all of these displayed in truck mode because as I said, I love it. And then if we're going to show off, we may as well go the whole hog, right? I mean, why not? Here you've got two different versions of Ultra Magnus, which, if you're not in the know, was originally the cab section was the same as the original Optimus Prime toy. And here you've got Shining Magnus from 2000, the yellow one. Just absolutely bizarrely glorious. I adore it. Limited to only 800 pieces worldwide, so quite rare. And then you've got the movie preview Magnus, which was 1,500 pieces in 2001. And it's interesting to see the Shining Magnus, the yellow cab, because of course Sentinel Prime is much darker, kind of more orange, burnt orange if anything, and yeah, still, they look wonderful together. And hey, I don't get out that little lot for just anybody, you know. This is like the equivalent of my fine china. Anyway, joking aside, here you've got him with the original Missing Link, just for a final comparison, and obviously they look really good together. Such a different take, such a different thing in this colour. I can't believe we're getting wonderful repaints like this already. Just such a gift, honestly. Yeah. Wonderful. Anyway, we should go ahead and get him transformed up into robot mode, shouldn't we? And of course it's the same as the first Missing Link release, still very different to the vintage toy, which is unusual to see, but a lot of fun. I will say that this feels very strange to do after the Retro Prime, because of course that is the classic transformation. So, yeah, bizarre, but still sort of weirdly familiar as well. I don't know. I still can't really put my finger on it with this thing, honestly. But gotta love it. And then there we go, robot mode, and just beautiful. Absolutely love it. It's funny because I can't remember who, but I saw someone online was like, who wants this? You know, this is such a strange color scheme. And I get it, like I really get that take, because for a lot of people this is just bizarre, right? But for me, this is everything I want from Transformers collecting. Like, honestly, I could boil down my collecting preferences to just weirdly coloured Optimus Primes, particularly this original mould, particularly this. And so honestly, if this was all they ever made forevermore, I would be happy. Just this in just weird colours. And I know that there will be people that will look at this and be like, why? What is it? What's the purpose here? What's this orange about? What's the faceplate about? All of it. But to me, it's such a well-loved mould, such an unusual colour scheme that how can you not love it? You know, that's my take anyway. And for me, this is great that they're doing this in Missing Link. Like, give us Purple Sunstreaker, give us weirdly coloured Bumblebees. I want it all, honestly. Continue to do these strange repaints, please. And obviously, I've kept it in a very kind of stoic pose for now because I wanted to see what it looked like, sort of aping the original, as it were, you know, just to kind of get that Optimus Prime recolour flavour, if you will, and it's really doing it for me, honestly, absolutely glorious. Really love a lot of the paint, obviously, though. It's got these newly moulded details for Missing Link. Those are great, and you can tell that it is a different mould, even though it so closely looks just like the original, you know, those little tells, the fists, things like this. But honestly, you could sit this next to the vintage recolours and it fits in perfectly, in my opinion. Just look at the colours on that head. Love the orange of the faceplate, the little kind of teal eyes. This paint here is beautiful. Love the kind of bluey tinted, greeny tinted windows, whatever it is, blue, green, you know, don't at me. But honestly, just stunning. You know, it's got all the nice shiny chrome. It's just die-cast, you know, rubber tyres. So yeah, honestly, I can't remember who it was that was like, who wants this? But my take would be, how could you not want this? This is everything to me. I mean, I say it without hyperbole when I state that this is the most exciting kind of stuff happening in Transformers right now for me. So, and look, obviously it's got all the articulation of the Missing Link. I mean, I've done a video on that as well, which many of you have watched, I know, and it's got tons of articulation in there. You can move the head, you can move the arms, you can move the hips. It's got everything. Still can't get over an Optimus Prime mold with an ab crunch, but it's there. Still feeling the need to be a little bit careful with those hips. I do think that could be a little bit more solid in the design, and certainly the thigh rotation there, that is chrome, and you know, it does feel a little bit not fragile, but just like one to be wary of, I would say. So that does give me a little bit of, you know, a little pause, let's say. But otherwise, honestly, the articulation on this thing is just like a dream come true. And yeah, it really does do just about whatever you want it to. I mean, the articulation, again, is slightly unusual in places, just because of it's kind of the blocky original design, you know, you gotta kind of work around that. But I think they've done an amazing job with bringing this mold back to life. I've said it all in my original Missing Link review. I don't need to say it again. Wonderful. And I almost hate to admit this because, you know, I will be that person that poses this thing more often than not in just a very stoic pose, kind of aping the G1 toy, because I just love that look. But it is great that it's got all of this articulation. It is amazing that it can pose in the way that it can. It's just such an incredible product. Now, of course, you can just still go ahead and flip open his little chest section there. I've put that silver section back in there for the matrix, and then you've got that green matrix that we saw earlier that just clips in like so. That looks stunning, really, really nice. Now, I will say that there are one or two tiny little chips in the chrome on my matrix, so I am a little bit disappointed by that. I mean, you've kind of got to go looking for it, I'm not going to lie, but it is there, and for a product of this nature, I might have hoped that that kind of thing wouldn't happen, so yeah, a little bit disappointed, but it is what it is, I guess. Now, of course, Sentinel Prime has been a Matrix bearer in various continuities, and in particular the original Marvel comic as well, so that is sort of, there is some precedent there for him having a Matrix, but it looks good either way, and I just adore the way that kind of shines through that chest there. Just divine. Now, also included here is that little kind of reddy orange Energon axe, kind of nice colour. Really like that it's different to the Optimus Prime version, which is just kind of a straight up orange, and that just clips over the fist like so, and then you can fold up the little underneath tab, click it back into place, and that is such a nice colour. It looks great on him. Kind of a little bit of a callback to the faceplate with the sort of darker orange up there, but again, it's its own thing. It's kind of a bit more red in there. Just looks absolutely fabulous. And then here you can see him with the animated Sentinel Prime toy. And of course, you know, there have been many different Sentinel Primes in Transformers history. There's this guy, there's the one from Dark of the Moon, there's the original Marvel character, there's the new Transformers 1 iteration. He's been blue and orange in some of them. He's been predominantly orange in others. There have been other Sentinel Prime toys that are wholly orange. So it's kind of, if anything, it's a bit of a homage to all of it and specific bits of it, and I just love what they've done with it. Honestly, it's a wholly original take, and I think that's super cool. Anyway, in terms of other comparisons, here you can see him with Shining Magnus, and again, this is an Ultra Magnus toy, but the cab robot was the same as the original Optimus Prime, and yeah, it's just fun to see because they're both a little yellow, a little funky, and very different though. Just, I don't know. What a world with these two, right? Like, I don't know, how can you not love this kind of thing? I certainly do. Really though, there can be no better comparison than with the original Missing Link in the classic flavours, Optimus Prime style. And honestly, again, I'm just so happy that we're getting repaints like this from Missing Link already, you know? Like, it really bodes well for where Takara Tomy are taking this line, that they're willing to just go this really unusual route so early on in the whole scheme of things. It just makes me really, really happy. Like, the fact that we've already got 3 versions of this same toy, despite the fact that it only came out earlier this year, is just marvellous to me. We haven't even got to Bumblebee or Cliffjumper yet, you know? We're already being treated this well. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, it's another Optimus Prime. I totally get that, but for me, this is everything I want from Transformers right now. As I say, I could not be happier with this thing. Bring it on, do it in purple, do it in black, do it in green, I don't care. Honestly, just keep making them, and I know I'm going to keep getting them at least. I mean, definitely do a Pepsi version. And beyond that, what else is there to say? I'm just in awe of this thing. It's definitely the best repaint I've seen this year so far in terms of Transformers. Let's put it that way. I couldn't be more excited about it. I love where this line is going. This is 100% unequivocally a toot. Now, today's video is brought to you by TF Source, so I will of course go ahead and put a link to their site down in the description below. You can check them out for all your Transformers needs. And don't forget to let me know your thoughts on Missing Link Sentinel Prime. Do you like what you see or not so sure? I'd also be very grateful if you could leave me a like for this video, please. And otherwise, that's it from me. So have a great rest of your day, and TTFN.